Okay, good morning, students. So in yesterday's class, we saw how the design of piston is going to done. So in today's class, let us see how the design procedure is going to be with the example problem. So here I'm given mention a problem to design a piston for IC engine. So here we can read the data. So here design a cast iron piston. So the material for the cast piston is given, that is a cast iron piston. Cast iron material piston we need to design. So and there the specifications is given. For this given following specifications, we need to design a piston. So here the cylinder bore is given. So that is a cylinder bore is denoted by capital D. So which is 100 mm and stroke length. So stroke, that is a stroke length is denoted by small l. So that is 125 mm. And then maximum gas pressure is given. So we have denoted maximum gas pressure with capital P. So that is equal to 0. So it is 5 Newton per mm square. And the mean pressure, so indicated mean effective pressure, so denoted by PM, so 0.75 Newton per mm square. And the fuel consumption, mass of fuel consumption, now we have denoted the fuel consumption denoted by M, so which is given as so it is 0.15 kg per Bp per hour it is, so not per seconds, it is per hour. So and the higher caloric value is also given, that is HCV, so that is 42 into 10 cube per kilojoules per kg. So and finally the speed is denoted by capital N, so it is 2000. So this is the data given now. So for the given specifications, we need to perform a design. We need to give a dimensions for a piston made of cast iron material using these dimensions. So other than that, if any other specification of the data is required, you can assume the remaining data which is required for so design of piston. So let us see. So how the design is processed. So the first step in design. So we need to calculate piston head or crown. So here the thickness of piston head or crown is calculated based upon the two considerations. That is first one, based on strength. So and then based on heat dissipation. So we know that the based on strength, so the total gas load has to withstand by means of the head thickness. So we need to provide a proper thickness to support the load. So here the thickness of piston head or crown, so that is denoted by T1, is calculated based on a strength point of view. It is given by root of 3 PD square by 16 sigma. So here, so where P is the maximum gas pressure, that is given in data. So capital P, and D is the diameter is also given. So 100 mm. And sigma T is not known, so it is not given in the data. So we need to take an assumption. So based upon the type of material specified, so it is a cast iron material. So we know that for cast iron material, so the permissible tensile strength for the cast iron material, so that is 35 to 50 Newton per mm square. So here I am assuming sigma T for piston head material is I am taken as 38 megapascal. So that is 38 Newton per mm square. You need to clearly state the assumption here. So that is assuming sigma T equal to 38. So this is the ranging we have written in the design procedure. So based upon that, for the cast iron material, it is ranging from 35 to 50 Newton per mm square. In between that, we need to take the sigma T value for calculating the thickness of piston head. By substituting all the values of pressure, diameter, and then tensile strength, so that is 38 megapascal, it is value is given as 15.7 mm. So and it is taken as 16 mm. Clear? So after finding out the thickness based on strength, we can also need to calculate the thickness based on heat dissipation. Calculate that. So for that, is given. So the thickness of head is calculated based upon heat dissipation. So thickness T1 is given by 1000 H by 12.56 K into Tc minus T. So in which the H is the total heat flow through the piston. So it is given by H equal to C into M into HCV into brake power. So here C is the amount of heat flow through the piston. So that is a constant. So here we are assuming only 5% of heat is passing through the piston head. So that is so C value is taken now. So C equal to 0.05 is a constant value. 5% of the total heat that is passing through the piston head. So and M is the mass. So it is given in the data 0.15 kg per Vp per hour, but we need to substitute in terms of seconds, so kg per Vp per seconds, and HCV, that is higher power value given HCV and Vp. So here the brake power is not given. So for that you need to calculate the brake power from mechanical efficiency. So in the given data they given the mechanical efficiency, or if it is not given, you can assume the mechanical efficiency as 80%. So using the mechanical efficiency, first of all you can calculate the brake power, so Vp by IP. So if IP is also not known, so mechanical efficiency can assume 80 to 90%, and here I am taking 80%. So indicated power is not known, so first of all you can calculate the indicated power. So indicated power is given by IP equal to PM lap by 60. So mean effective pressure is given, that is PM. So L is the stroke length is also given, and M is taken as M by 2. So and then stroke A is pi by 4 d square. So bore diameter is known. So from this equation I can calculate the indicated power. So IP is given by 12.27 kilowatts. So using that I can calculate brake power. So brake power IP, that is 12.27 kilowatts. Mechanical efficiency is 80%, 0.8. So it is the value is given by 9.8 kilowatts. That is the brake power you can calculate. So by substituting all the values, that is C 0.05 and M is the mass, you can substitute in terms of kg per Vp per second. So that is by 3600 you can use. You can substitute, and HCV, so 42 into 10 cube, and Vp is 9.8 kilowatts. So total heat flow is given. So the total heat flow is given as 0.86 kilowatts. So and that is the total heat flow through the piston head. H is known. So and then what is K is a thermal heat transfer coefficient. So based upon the type of material it may vary. So here the cast iron material. So the heat transfer coefficient is given by 46.6 watt per meter per degree centigrade. So for cast iron material, grey cast iron material, 46.6, and Tc minus Te. So that is the temperature difference between the center to the edges. So for cast iron material, it is 220 degrees centigrade. You can substitute all the values. So Tc minus Te is the 220 degrees centigrade, and K is the 46.6 watt per meter degree centigrade, and heat flow is 0.86 kilowatts. You can substitute all the values in this equation. The T1 thickness of piston head thrown based upon the heat dissipation is given by, so that is a 6.7. So after finding out the thickness based upon the two considerations, one is based on strength and another one is based on heat dissipation. So the larger of the two values is going to adapt as a final thickness of head. So here when I write the statement clearly, so taking the larger of two values is adopted as piston head from, so that is T equal to, so here so the grade of thickness is 16 mm, so T1 is given by T1 is equal to 16 mm. Clear? So after finding out the thickness of piston head or crown, so we need to calculate the thickness of ribs. So here that the rib thickness is going to calculate based upon the thickness of the piston head. So if the thickness of piston head is less than 6 mm, there is no ribs are required. But here the thickness of piston head is greater than 6 mm, so you need to calculate the thickness of piston ribs. So So here that is the thickness of ribs. This need to be calculated using the proportion T1 by 3 to T1 by 2. So using that we need to calculate the proportion and value. So here it may be given by, so that is 7 mm. So that is the thickness of this. So if there is no, if the thickness is less than 6 mm, it is not required to calculate the thickness of this. So here the thickness of piston head is greater than 6 mm. You need to calculate the thickness of ribs using this proportionate value from T1 by 3 to T1 by 2. So that is thickness of ribs is given by T divided by T. T equal to 7 mm. So after calculating the thickness of head and the thickness of piston ribs, so we need to calculate the dimensions of the piston rings. So that is the first one. So radial thickness of piston rings. It is denoted by K3. It is calculated by Vp by sigma. Yeah. So again, B is the cylinder bore. It is given in the data, and PW is the pressure acting on the cylinder walls. So here, so we know that the ranging, the pressure ranging upon the cylinder walls is ranging from 0.025 Newton per mm square to 0.042 Newton per mm square. So you can take the value in between these pressure acting on the cylinder walls. So that is the PW. So and the sigma dr is also not given. So you need to take the assumption for that. So for the cast iron material piston rings, the value of sigma dr is ranging from 85 to 110 Newton per mm square. So here I am taking the sigma dr as 82 megapascal. So you can substitute the value of sigma dr and the pressure acting on the cylinder walls. So cylinder bore is known. So from that you can calculate the thickness, radial thickness of piston rings, and it is given by 3.4. So after finding out the radial thickness, you can need to calculate the axial thickness. It is T4. Axial thickness of piston rings. That is T4. So here the axial thickness of piston ring is determined by using the empirical relation. So that is based upon the T3. So it is given by 0.7 T3 to T3. We can calculate using that value. So it may be given, so I am taking in between the value of 0.7 T3 to T3. So you can take the axial thickness of piston rings as given. So after finding out the radial thickness and axial thickness, we need to calculate the thickness of top, that is width of top land and width of other ringlet B1 and B2. So as well as the gap between the free ends of the rings. Check the minimum thickness of piston rings. Minimum thickness, the axial thickness of piston ring. So it is given by capital D by 10 mm. So we need to assume the number of rings in the piston. So I am assuming so the piston may have the rings as 4. So there is a 3 number of oil compression rings and 1 oil ring. So using that I can substitute the values of cylinder bore 100 mm and cylinder bore may be given as some 4 mm. So I am taking the radial thickness, axial thickness. So it is 2.5. So our calculated axial thickness is 3.5. So that the minimum thickness we are checking that it is safe to operate with that dimensions. So after that we can calculate the width of top land width. So here the top land width as well as width between the other ring groups, that is the other ring land, that can also be calculated using the proportions. That is B1 is given by T1 to 1.2 T1. So here I am taking the B1 as equal to the T1. So that is the B1 equal to 16 mm. So the thickness of piston head is also 16 mm. So I am taking the same values for width of head and width of other ringlet. So that is the distance between the two ring grooves. So denoted by B2. It is given by 0.75 T42. T4, so I am taking 0.8 T4, so it may be get around 3.8 mm or maybe 4 mm. So it should be between 7.5 T40. So T4 based upon the radial axial thickness of the staples. So using that, you can also need to calculate the gap between the three ends of these. So this gap is also need to calculate using the empirical relation. So that is given by 3.5 T32, 4 times of T3. So using that, you can calculate the gap between the free ends of the rings, or it is in the unassembled view. So when it is in the cylinder, so this can be given by the value can be given as 0.02 into 0.004 times of diameter of this. So by substituting the values of radial thickness of the ring as well as the cylinder both, so you need to calculate the gap between the free ends of the rings when it is in the free position and when it is in the rings in the cylinder. So the next step in this design now, so that is calculate the dimensions of piston skirt and barrel. So for barrel dimensions, so that is the thickness of the axial thickness of the piston towards the open end as well as the thickness of the piston towards the top side of the piston. So first of all, you can calculate the dimensions for barrel. That is the maximum thickness of piston barrel at the top side. It is denoted by T5. So here the thickness T5 is also given using the empirical relation, as well as the T6 is also using the empirical relation. So T5 is given to 0.03 times of T plus so width of the piston, width of the ring plus 4.5. So here the width of the ring is not known. So that is given by should be equal to T1 plus T3 plus 0.4. So you can calculate the width of the ring groove small b. After that, finding out the thickness of piston barrel at the top side 0.03 plus T3 plus 4.9 mm. And this value of piston ring is given by 11.3 mm. You can also calculate the thickness of barrel. Towards open end. It is denoted by T6. It is given by 0.45, T5 to 0.35. Here, by substituting the value of T5 here, so T5 is already calculated, that is 11.3. So 11.3 in the T5. Substituting the value in this equation, it will calculate the thickness of piston barrel towards the open end, that is T6. After that, you can calculate the dimensions of stud, that is denoted by small l. So after finding out the thickness of piston head or crown T1 and then thickness of ribs T2, so you can need to calculate the dimensions of piston rings, that is the radial thickness of piston rings T3 and the axial thickness of piston rings T4. So along with that, you can also need to determine the dimensions for width of top land, so B1, and width of ringland B2, other ringland B2. So and then the gap between the free ends of the rings and thickness of piston barrel T5 and T6. So after finding out these all the dimensions of piston head, rings and barrel, we need to calculate the dimensions for skirt. So that is you need to calculate so the length of skirt here. So here the skirt length is going to calculate by means of equating the side thrust acting on the piston skirt to the bearing load acting on skirt. So here that is the side thrust denoted by R is equated to sorry, it is a maximum bearing load or bearing load acting on strut. So here the side thrust are acting on the piston strut upon the cylinder walls. So here the total side thrust is taken is assumed as, so that is side thrust is assumed as only 1/10 of maximum gas load W. So we know that the maximum gas load that is given by pi by 4 d square into P. So here the side thrust is taken is only 1/10, that is a 0.1 times of maximum gas load pi by 4 d square into maximum gas pressure. Clear? So this should be equated to the bearing load acting on the piston strut. So bearing load can be written as a PB, so that is a bearing pressure acting on strut. So into the bearing area should be, so that is a length into diameter. So here taking only a strut length L, so into the diameter is equal to the piston diameter, that is capital D. So by equating these two terms, that is a gas load, that is a side thrust to the bearing load. So we need to calculate the length of strut L. So here capital D is the cylinder bore or piston diameter is known, and P is the maximum gas pressure is also known, and so PB is unknown here, that is the pressure acting on the piston strut length. So that has to be taken as equal to the 0.45 Newton per mm square. That is an assumption we are going to take for the capacity of engine based upon the capacity of engine. By substituting all these values, so we can calculate the strut length here. So here the strut, by substituting all the values, the strut length L I am going to get is 90 mm. So that is the length of strut L equal to 90 mm. After finding out, that is the dimension for strut. So after finding out the dimension of strut, you can also need to calculate the total length of piston. Total length of piston, and this length of piston is given by width of top end. You can see it from the viewed from the top, so you can calculate from the top. That is initially it is a width of top land is to be there, width of top land plus ring section of piston plus length of strut. So here width of top land is denoted by B1 plus B1. So plus ring section. So here the length of ring section is depends upon the number of rings that we are having in the piston. So here we are taken the number of rings as 4. So here we have then 4 number of rings, so that we have to take the 4 times of axial thickness of rings, that is T4, 4T4, plus there is an 3 times of other ringland widths are there, that is 3B2. So 4T4 plus 3B2 gives the total length of ring section plus length of strut, that is L. So here B1 is already calculated, width of top land, and the axial thickness of the rings are calculated, and then so B2 is determined by using empirical relation, and L is the strut length is calculated using by equating the side thrust to the gas load, that is bearing load acting on the strut. So by using that, you can substitute all the values here. So you may get the total length of piston. So I may get 130. So you can get in your own value. So we know that there is no unique solution for the problem. So based upon the different allowable stresses values we are taken. So the thickness of the head is varies. So that by means of that the piston ring thicknesses can vary, as well as the width of the top end is going to vary, so that there is no unique solution for that. So as per my assumed value of allowable stresses, I may get the total length of the piston as taken as 130 mm. So after finding out the dimensions of strut, we can also go with calculating or determining the dimensions of pin. That is a final step in the design process, that is a piston pin dimensions. So here the dimensions I can calculate or determine, that is a piston pin diameter. So if you take a solid pin, so it is denoted by small d. If it is a hollow pin, I can take a d0 and as well as the di. So we need to calculate the two diameters for pin. So inner diameter of pin as well as the outer diameter of pin. So here the pin diameter is going to calculate is going to calculate by equating the maximum. So whatever the load acting on the piston head, the same load is acting on the piston pin, and that should be equated to the bearing load, that is a bearing load acting on the piston pin. So here it can be determined the diameter of pin is determined by equating maximum gas load. So here this is the total load acting on the piston, the same load is also acting on the piston pin, is equated to bearing load on piston pin. So here the maximum gas load you are already calculated here, that is a pi by 4 d square into p. So that is the maximum gas load, pi by 4 d square into p, and this should be equated to the bearing load acting on piston pin. So again the bearing load can be calculated by means of bearing pressure into bearing area. So here the bearing pressure can be denoted by PB1. So here the PB is already taken here, that is for the cut bearing pressure. So here it is the bearing pressure for piston pin. So that is taken as 25 Newton per mm square for branch bush, that is written in our design procedure. For branch type of bush, it is 25 Newton per mm square, and the bearing length, that is the bearing area, can be taken as L1 into, that is the length of L1 is given by the total length of piston pin inside the bushes, that is denoted by L1, and and then D. So that is D naught. Here I am taking it is a hollow pin. So we are having the two diameters, inner diameter and outer diameter. So L into D, that gives the bearing area, and PV1 is the bearing pressure, that gives the total bearing load acting on the piston pin. So by means of by equating these two terms, so here the capital D is the cylinder bore or the piston diameter, that is given in data. So you can substitute it, and maximum gas pressure is known. So it is also given in data, and PB1 are taken as 25 Newton per mm square for branch bush, and L1 is unknown, that is the length of pin inside the bush. So under D naught we have to calculate it. So here the L1 can be taken in terms of diameter, that is by using the proportion. You can take L1 as 0.45 times of D. So by substituting all the values here, we can get the outer diameter of pin. So D naught as 35 mm. So after getting the outer diameter of the pin, so we can also need to calculate the inner diameter by using the proportion DI equal to 0.6 times of D naught. So that so DI is given by 21 mm. Clear? So this is the dimensions for pin. So after finding out the dimensions, we can also check whether our calculated dimensions of the pin DI and D naught, that is 35 mm and 20 mm, is going to withstand the maximum gas load acting on the pin. So that is here, due to the application of the maximum gas load on the pin, so the pin is going to bend. So here we need to check with the induced bending stress for the induced bending stress. So here the pin is going to bend by means of application of the maximum gas load. So you need to check for the induced stresses. So check for induced bending stress. So here the maximum bending moment acting on the that is denoted by M. So it's given by W. So that is the total load acting on the pin. So that is equal to the maximum gas load, that is W pi by 4 d square into P. So and the length of the pin is taken equal to the diameter of piston. So that is W d by A. So by calculating the maximum bending moment, the value you may get is around 491 into 10 cube Newton mm. The section modulus for pin, that is a circular section. So we can calculate by 32 d naught cube into 1 minus k power 4, where k is a di by d naught. So the di and d naught are calculated here. So by substituting all these values, you may get the value of z. So and then induced bending stress. is sigma b. So it is calculated by m by z. So sigma b equal to m by z. So m is calculated using this relation, and z can be going to calculate section modulus using this relation. So we may get the bending stress, induced bending stress it is. So it may be 134.9 Newton per mm square. So after finding out the induced bending stress, so this is the value 134.9. So we need to check this induced stress with the allowable stress value. So for that, let us assume pin is made of heat treated alloy steel. So having allowable stress of 140 megapascal. So here, after finding out the induced bending stress in the pin, and these induced bending stress should always less than so the allowable stress value, then only the pin is going to, that is at whatever the dimensions we are determined by equating this gas load to the bearing load, and these dimensions going to withstand by the application of the load, that is the W. Clear? So always the induced stress should be less than allowable stress, then only the design of pin is going to safe. Clear? So this is the sequence of design process that we are going to follow. So initially we should calculate the dimensions of pin by considering the strength as well as the heat dissipation process, that is the two factors, so that the larger of the two values is adopted as a thickness of piston head or crown, that is T1. So based upon the thickness we are obtained, so we need to calculate the thickness of the ribs T2. So if it is less than 6, so no need to calculate the T2. If it is greater than 6, so we need to calculate the T2 by means of empirical relation T1 by 3 to T1 by 2. So and then the piston ring dimensions, radial thickness and axial thickness is going to calculate. So here the T3 is using the formula empirical, not an empirical equation. It is going to calculate mathematical equation. And T4, that is axial thickness, and B1 and B2, that is width of top land and width of other ring land. All these values is going to calculate using the empirical relations, as well as the T5 and T6 can also be calculated, that is thickness at the top side of the piston and the thickness at the open end. So can also be calculated using the empirical relation. And the final, and then next the piston cut length is determined by equating the side thrust acting on the piston cut to the bearing load acting on the cut, so that you can calculate length and then calculate the total length, finding out the total length of the piston, and finally determine the dimensions of the pin. So if it can taking so this is also an assumption. So if it is an, I am consider it as an hollow pin. If you are consider it as a solid pin, so we are having only a single D, so that is only D we have. So in that case here the section modulus is going to be so pi by 32 D cube. Clear? So after finding out the dimensions of pin D0 and DA or D, so we need to check the pin for induced bending stress. So by calculating the sigma B equal to m by z, and that should be checked with the allowable stress value. If it is taken the material as a case hardened carbon steel, the material allowable strength is 84 megapascal. Here I consider it as a heat treated alloy steel. So its allowable stress is going to be 140 megapascal. So that my calculated value of allowable stress is less than the given, calculated induced stress is less than the given permissible stress, then the design of pin is safe. Clear? So this is the process we need to follow. So don't need to bother about the values you are getting. So why? Because there is no unique solution for that. We are having the range of allowable stress values for the piston head material, piston ring material, as well as the bearing pressures. That may be varies for each and everyone, so that the values may varies. So no need to check with your friends' values. So we don't have any unique solution. Please simply stick on to the sequence of steps we need to follow in the design sequence, like in this fashion, starting with the piston head and then piston rings and the dimensions of piston barrel, and finally calculate the piston pin dimensions and check with the induced stresses. Clear?